Hey everyone, so just kind of a continuation of the last video. We're going to talk about finding happiness and the residual effects of the trauma I experienced. I know it's different for everybody, and there's all different kinds of childhood trauma and adult trauma that can affect you for years and years, maybe even lifelong, after you're out of the situation. I know on the previous video I talked about the final straw, like what finally did it for me, that I was done. And I started realizing more of my self-worth a little bit before this happened. I mean, I was going to therapy, and especially after my grandfather had died, I wanted to make some changes for myself. I wanted to be happy. I mean, I was happy with a lot of things in my life, but there was still always this just oppressive weight always on my shoulders. And prior to cutting off my mom and all of that, probably like a year prior, it's actually right around the time my grandpa was passing away. I was at a previous job, and it was a couple jobs ago, and I always was this person that let everyone walk all over me, and I was always available for anybody and everybody 24/7 and would do anything for anybody, but not in a good way. I never made time for me. I never did anything for me. It was always for other people. And so I was walked over a lot. And at this last job, I remember coming into work one day, and I was a shift lead. I was the only one shift lead at this job. There was a manager above me, and then the owner, and that was it. And I was being trained for more, for making schedules and things like that. And I remember I was called into the office as soon as I came into work, and my manager and the owner were there, and the manager started yelling at me. There wasn't any reason for that. I was not acting hostile towards her, but yelling, screaming at me. I mean, there was customers in the store. We were in the back office, but it wasn't a very big store. And the customers could hear her yelling at me, the other worker that was there, and just yelling, screaming, cussing at me. And it was horrible. And I was like, I don't deserve this. I don't believe at any job, it doesn't matter what you pay me, I don't deserve to be talked to like a dog. I'm worth more. I always try and do 110% at any job I'm in, and I don't deserve to be talked to that way. And I let her yell at me and get it all out, and I told her that, I don't deserve the way you're talking to me for doing the job that you requested I do. I hadn't actually done anything wrong. I was only doing the job I was requested to do. And I don't know if she felt threatened or whatever. She was getting ready to have really serious surgery, and she would be out for several months. And I don't know if she felt threatened or what, but that's not how you talk to people. And I told her that. And she left and went back into the work area. And I'm not going to say what job this was. And just the owner and me were there, and I'm like, I am not going to be talked to like that. That's not okay to talk to people that way, for doing the job that you requested me do. And she told me to, go take a break, and I did. And I called my then fiance and talked to him, and I'm like, it's not right. I don't deserve that. And I took a breather. I went back in, and I told the owner, I'm like, I will work every day she's not here until she leaves for surgery, and then I'll work whatever days that she's gone that you need me, but whenever she comes back, I'm gone, because I don't want to put my coworkers and the owner in a bind. And she was leaving in a week anyway for, surgery and recovery and all that. And that's what I did. And the week she came back was my last week, and it's also the week my grandfather died, which was actually this week. So, 4 years ago, this week was like the first time I like really stuck up for myself. I'm like, I'm done. And I matter. And it felt good. I mean, no one deserves to be belittled like that. And I hadn't done anything wrong. So, that was the first instance for me of, putting me first. And, there was a lot of things that I had to work through and get over. Like, whenever I first moved up here, if someone raised their voice at me or in like an aggressive or angry manner, I would cower. Like, even though they had no intention of hitting me, it's just like a reflex, and I couldn't stand anybody yelling. I would leave or go into another room or whatever. I couldn't emotionally like handle it. It was like a weight on my shoulders. And like even now, if there's like an argument or whatever, I prefer to step back from the situation, calm down, bring my levels back to normal before we talk about anything. Because if your emotions are heightened and my emotions are heightened, then we're both going to say shit we don't mean, and it's not going to benefit anything. I mean, there's lots of things like, but, and then along with the weight loss, I was up to over 250 pounds whenever I moved up here 10 years ago. And at my highest, I weighed 299. And I was very unhappy. I was in pain all the time. It was just the quality of life was very low. And so I started, the bariatric program, and I've lost over 100 pounds. So yay. But, the most important thing is I'm not in pain anymore. One other thing was like, whenever I was a teenager and I talked to like my school psychiatrist, she asked me, what do you want to do when you grow up? Like, what's the one thing that like you really want? And I'm like, I really want to be a mom. Like, I really, really, really feel like I could be a really good mom because I know everything not to do. And I will protect that child till the ends of the earth. And they will never experience what I had to. Which I feel is a logical response, for most people who had dealt with childhood trauma. But apparently not, because, my egg donor, she dealt with trauma, and then I also experienced it even at her hands. So, there's that. So, I decided last year that I decided a while back that I decided I didn't want to have kids of my own. I want to say it came before I had my last job. A job before this one, I was working with juveniles who didn't have homes. Most of them were DCS kids. And, they didn't have a home. And why can't why can't I foster or adopt one day? There's plenty of kids out there that don't have homes or don't have good homes that need help. And so I decided, and I thought about it for a long time, and I decided to get fixed. Not this November, but the November before, I had my tubes removed. I was also having a lot of complications with like hormone levels because I had been on birth control, like either the shot or Implanon, the one that goes in your arm. I had been on it since I was 15. And my estrogen levels were really low. And I was dealing with a lot of complications with that. I'm like, I don't want to be on birth control for the rest of my life if I've decided not to go this route. There's plenty of kids out there that will be mine even if I didn't birth them. So I got fixed. And I'm happy with that decision. I mean, my levels are all normal. I feel great, and I know one day when me and my husband are ready that we'll be able to provide, a good home for some child that needs it. Whether that be on a temporary basis until, they go back home or whatever. But I feel like that kind of stems. I mean, I don't feel like it's necessarily, I'm not going to blame the trauma on me not wanting kids and getting fixed, but I feel like it made me realize that, I have a better purpose, that I can give someone else a good home that doesn't have one, and I can be there for them. And, if they've had traumatic, experiences that they've been going through, I'm empathetic to that. I understand and can maybe help those kids work through it. When I was working with the juveniles before, I realized so much more about myself. I feel like they helped me more than I could possibly help them, just because I learned so much from them. So there's that. I will one day adopt. In finding happiness after all this, I mean, my life changed. After, I went no contact. Yes, I lost this weight. I felt good. I didn't feel like there was this dark cloud hanging over me all the time. And I don't know why, but I was like, before I was scared to like not talk to her every couple of days, like something bad would happen or whatever. And, people don't always believe me about the kind of person that my mother is. And so I am going to put a couple screenshots and block out her name and picture and add them to this video of posts she's made about me. I understand she's lashing out because some truth is finally coming out about her, but how I was raised was not parenting. That's not parenting. I mean, spanking your child, putting in a corner, that's, whatever, ground them, that's one thing. You don't prod your child. You don't belt them until there's welts. You don't leave lasting marks on your kid. You don't emotionally abuse them, call them names. You don't have a rape kit done on them after they snuck out of the house. You don't fake an illness for your child so you receive support from the government. You don't do those things. That's not parenting. If you care more about yourself than you do your small child, then you should not be a parent. You shouldn't. You are not obligated to give that child to someone who's going to take care of them and is going to love them and cherish them like they deserve. That's not parenting. It's not. Okay? I feel like some parents, they try and hold on, and the best thing that they could possibly do for their child is to give them up. But yeah, I mean, back to all the good things. I mean, I lost weight. I felt good. I started the job with the juveniles, and I loved it. I loved working with them. I realized more about myself. One thing that I really, really always wanted to do is I wanted to be a dispatcher, like a 911 dispatcher. I wanted it for years. And I had kind of looked into it like a couple years ago, and I'm like, I don't know if I have, like, I don't have, the college training or whatever. I don't know if I need to have like a foot in the door. Well, I was working with the juveniles, so I was already working for the state. So, or the county. So I already kind of had a foot in the door. So I'm like, well, they aren't hiring, but I'm just going to send in a resume. I didn't even have an application. I just mailed my resume. And I got a call. And I was so surprised. I got a call, and I called in, and I was hired, and they had me fill out an application on the spot because they had to have one on file. And they usually have 6 months of training, and I finished mine in 4. Like, I love my job. I love helping people, and I never know what's going to happen every day, but it's just a really, really rewarding experience. And at my job, I created another family, or they accepted me into theirs. One of my officers, he walked me down the aisle. They're most amazing people, and I could not be more grateful for them accepting me into their family. Actually, just the other day, they surprised me. They knew I had wanted. I know this is stupid. They knew I wanted a Nintendo Switch for a couple months now, and I was gonna save up for one after Christmas. Well, they bought it for me. Like, everybody chipped in and bought me a Nintendo Switch for Christmas. And it's amazing. It's shocking. But I have a family. They may not be blood, but they're so much more. There's so much more. And I bought a house. Like, I know. It's like I'm in it right now. This is my house. And I get to decorate it the way I want, and it is my safe place, my sanctuary. And for the first time I have that. And it's beautiful, and I have a plan. Like, before, I didn't know where I was going to be in 5 to 10 years, and I have a 10-year plan. Like me, 28, I have a 10-year plan. Okay, and I have a job, and it has retirement, and it has medical and vacation days, and it's just it's amazing. I'm married. I got married this year. Granted, we've been engaged for 9 years, but we got married. And he totally said I could, so I'm gonna post a video, a picture or whatever. And then we have 2 beautiful little fur babies. I never would have imagined, whenever I was going through what I did, that this could have been my life now. I never would have thought, whenever I was laying in bed at night, praying so hard that I just would not wake up in the morning, that this could be my life. And granted, I was out of the house for, 6 years before I really started putting me first and working to make this happen. But it is possible, okay? Just because they're your parent, just because, they're your relative, your brother, your sister, whoever, it does not mean you have to keep them in your life. It doesn't mean that you always have to have them or talk to them because you're related. It doesn't. They don't have that right. Just because they gave birth to you or whatever does not give them the right to be in your life. Okay? You can make your own family. Just like I made mine. But, I hope this helps somebody. I hope someone who maybe is in this situation, or maybe they're recovering from a situation like I was for the first 6, 7 years, whatever. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. You may have to work to make it happen, and I still work every day. to make it better. I still have trauma. I still have flashbacks or anxiety every once in a while. But I found ways of coping with it. I know this is not everybody want to do this, but I do work out and it helps. It helps a lot. You know, you can build your support system. You can find people. You can find your tribe that loves and cares about you, and you can make it. And you know, if you're watching this video and you may not know me, if you do or you don't know me in real life, I mean, find me, send me a message. If you need help, I'm more than happy to talk with you and help you see your way through it. Just don't give up. Okay? It's giving up is easy. It is. Giving up is easy. Living through it is hard. It is so hard to live through it. But where I am now, it makes me so grateful for everything that I have and everyone that is in my life because of everything I've been through. I am so much more appreciative. And granted, yes, I wish I didn't have to go through all that, but I am the person I am because of what I went through. I would not be this person if it wasn't for that. So, in a couple days, we are going to have a guest person on the video. I don't know if I should leak who it is, but she can atone to many a thing from our past because she was there and periodically lived in the same household and also cut off our donors. Hint. So that'll be this weekend. I will post that video. As always, if you like my videos, please like and subscribe, share them. I appreciate you all, and I hope you have a very good new year.